Well, welcome to Jett Ministries, and what we are all about is helping people learn how to win at life and win hurt. And we are in edition number 4 of going from the pits to purpose, finding your purpose and leaving the pits of life. Learning how to win at life is basically what it is, and edition 4 is all about it's important where you turn, kind of like the picture at the start of this blog today with the U-turn. You have roundabouts, all kinds of arrows showing us where to turn in life. So to this point, I just want to remind you that the first 3 editions were written editions, so you can check those out at jettlife.org or Jett Life at Facebook, and you can read those and then be right in the loop of what's going on here. This is edition 4. It's our attempt to do video blogs and video teachings. So here's the deal in edition 4, learning where to turn. It's important where you turn if you're going to win at life. And so if you're going to win at life and leave the pits and find your purpose in life, certainly God's purpose for you, then you got to learn where to turn. And the first thing that came to my mind was the Peter Seeger music that he had written back, I guess, in the 60s, maybe late 50s, for those of you that are a little bit older. If you're like my kids, I trained them to listen to the cool music that I listened to in the 60s and 70s. And so you guys, as young as you are, you might even be familiar with these songs too. But he wrote a song that was made famous by a group called the Byrds, and it was Turn, Turn, Turn. And really he took the words from the book of the Bible called Ecclesiastes, written by the wisest man in the Bible, Solomon. But the interesting thing is Mr. Seeger that wrote the song changed a few of the words in his attempt to talk about world peace, to promote world peace. So really, if you were to look in the Bible and look at Ecclesiastes and what Solomon was saying, he was really talking about his experiences in life without God, when he was not in fellowship with God. He started out very close to God and knowing God's heartbeat and his ways, and chose to look for a life in the world of satisfaction in everywhere that he turned. And the end result, if you read that book, he finds that it's all meaningless and disappointing, trying to seek satisfaction in all these other ways outside of God. So that's basically a sermon from the wisest man ever to live. And so here's the deal. If you're ready to journey today, this is the jet fuel right here, because we're going to the Bible. And in John 1, John, the apostle that knew Jesus very well and intimately, said this about Jesus once he had beat death on the cross, raised to life, and then ascended to heaven. He said this in the book of John that he wrote the words to. He basically said in John 1, 1 and 2 that Jesus is the Word, and he's in the beginning, he said, because Jesus has always been, but it's in the beginning the Word was. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God in the beginning. So read that. I mean, I kind of slaughtered it right there, but I think you get the point. And you can go back to John 1, 1 and 2 and read that. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He's talking about Jesus being the Word. The Word, you know, the Bible is also known as the Word. So if that's the case, then shouldn't we, if we're going to win at this life, and we're going to follow the Creator that created us and loves us and wants a relationship with us, He's smarter than us, so we need to turn to the Bible to succeed in this life, win at life. Because after all, Solomon, when he ended his story, if you go to the very end of Ecclesiastes, he's basically going to say the same thing, that everything is just not worth it except to follow God, be with God, and follow His ways. Well, I talk about how the things that I can talk about and share with you, and the compassion I have for you, comes from my experiences of living kind of like Solomon when I lived 33 years without God. Had a lot of crash and burn moments. I had my own pits in life. But when I finally turned around and faced God, I was being wooed by Him, and I was being talked to by some people that already had turned to God. One of them was Mike Kingery, who I went to high school with, and he played baseball. He was great at every sport, and he ended up making it to the major leagues for 10 years. And when I first got an autographed baseball card from him, when I watched him play in the major leagues, he signed it Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. That's before I was following God. Now get that. But Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and don't lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your paths straight. So that was the very first Bible verse or two verses that I began to follow and make my life verses. So it motivated me to continue to follow God through his word and ask for his help in doing what he says is best for us from the Bible. Another thing that happened to me shortly after that, when I decided to give my life to Jesus and follow him instead of my ways, was I had some godly men that I probably never would have followed when I wasn't walking with God. But these guys all of a sudden became very attractive to me in the way that they had character, conduct, and conversation in their own lives. But they basically said, in 2 Timothy 3:16, it says the Bible is God-breathed. And I thought, man, if you slow down and check that out for a minute, God-breathed. Those words are inspired by God, written by men, but all in unity with one another. 50 men over 1,600 years put the book together as they were inspired by God. It's the purest book, and it's God's words. So that too should motivate us. If we're going to turn to the Word, the Bible, and we're going to pull ourselves out of the pit with God's help and start living a life of purpose. We're going to be winning at life. So number one is this: turn to the guidebook, which is the Bible, and start to understand what it means to live a victorious life. Now, what I want to share at the very end of this video is this, just a refresher for us. If you'll hang with me for just a second, here's what you're going to find on our website or Facebook is number one, I've been talking about learning how to win at life. And the second one is realizing what's keeping us from winning at life is being on the right team. That's God's team. The third thing is way to be, not way to do it or way to go. So we're going to be with Jesus and start becoming like him as we follow him, just like we would if we followed a good friend or somebody in life. We take on their characteristics. And again, today is turn to the new guidebook. That's it for now. Keep following us. Edition 5 is coming up in the next week, and I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, you can call us. And again, check us out at Facebook at JettLife and JettLife.org. Have a great day. Win at life. Adios.